Hello, everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. I haven't gone solo live in a long time. I was thinking about Saturday. I got up early to do some stuff and couldn't think of anybody doing any lives today, and thought, well, maybe I'll just go on and see who's around. So it's kind of a last minute thing. Just thought I'd come on and chat a little bit about some recent acquisitions, things that are going on around here in New York. Getting closer to spring and lots more people out and about as the weather gets warmer. So I had to get up early this morning. I had a doctor's appointment, and those are always such an ordeal. And got all ready for my doctor's appointment, went out in the cold, walked halfway there, finally got a cab the rest of the way because I was kind of aching a bit. Had a little bit of struggle with the cab, trying to pay with a credit card because I don't really know how to do that. I'm old. But the guy, in fact, I couldn't even get the door closed on the cab. The guy had to get out and help me. It was one of those slide, the big kind of cabs with the big slide doors. And it kind of stuck, and I had to reach way behind you to grab the handle, and I just didn't have the strength or flexibility, so he had to get out and go around and close the door for me, and then help me maneuver or negotiate the credit card pay scan thingy. I tried to sign up for Lyft the other day, and also Apple Pay on my iPhone. And I think it says that I'm signed up, but I can't figure out how to use it. I feel like I ought to just be able to hold my phone up and it will take a charge, but it looks like there's no buttons, no indications there. I don't really know what to do or how to use it. Hey, Shauna, welcome. So anyway, I got into the Mount Sinai Hospital for my cardiologist appointment, which I only went to because my prescription ran out and they wouldn't refill it without another appointment. Now, I had made an appointment a few weeks ago, and hey, Zane, hi, Deanne. So I made an appointment a few weeks ago, and they said that my doctor had an opening on Saturday, this Saturday. And I was sure, I wrote it down in my schedule book. And I said, oh, do I need a referral from my primary care physician? And they go, well, you better call your insurance and find out. Great. One more thing I have to do. I tell you, healthcare is a bitch. If you're sick or old, it's just like it'll make you sick and old trying to maneuver through it. So anyway, I got out my card. I called my insurance card. It says right on the card, no referrals necessary, but that doesn't mean anything. So I called up and I said, I have a cardiologist appointment. Do I need a referral from my primary? And they went through their records. They go, no, you don't. So that's good. So anyway, I get there today. The building's virtually empty. They go and scan to take my temperature with one of those little electric scanner things. And I go up to 2B Cardiology at Mount Sinai, Union Square. And there's one person in the waiting room and two people at the desk. So I go over and I say, I'm here for my appointment. And they ask my name and they look it up. Oh, we don't have you on the schedule today. And who's your doctor? And I tell them, and they go, oh, he's not in today. Great. So I've gone to all this effort, traveled all this way, paid for a cab. I'm there on time. I'm early, in fact. And the doctor isn't there. And this isn't the first time something like this has happened. I made an appointment once before, and they wouldn't let me in because they said I needed a referral. That's why I asked this time, do I need a referral? I'm really afraid that they made a new appointment for me for next Saturday, so I have to go. But I have a feeling that when I get there, it's going to be a problem. Like, oh, did you bring your referral? So anyway, I got a card from them and I said, look, I'm going to call to confirm on Friday, the day before, to make sure that I have everything I need for you, because this is crazy. I'm going to turn into a Karen, screaming and bitching over my health care, because they make the appointment and they sit there behind their desk and I have to jump through hoops to get there. And then when I do, they're not ready for me. Anyway, I walked all the way home aching. I haven't been out to walk that far in ages. Did stop a few places on the way and pick up a few things. Popped in the grocery. I've lately become addicted to chocolate covered cherries. Celeb, I think it's CELLA apostrophe S, Cella's brand chocolate covered cherries. So I picked up a box of those and a box of yellow marshmallow Peeps. I don't know if that chocolate covered cherry thing seems to be like they only have it around the holidays. Like they had it at Christmas and now they've got it on the Easter display for some reason. But I can't find them in my regular grocery. In this grocery, I think they only have them around the holidays. So thank heavens for Easter so I can get my cherries. So I got some cherries and some Peeps, some seltzer. I think that's all I got there. And then on the way home, I stopped at this little Korean market and they were selling little bags of clementines, 5 clementines for $1, which I thought that must be wrong somehow. That's really cheap. But I went ahead and bought it because I haven't had any fresh fruit in a few days. And I haven't had clementines in probably a year. See who else is here. We've got Shauna, Zane, Deanne. Somebody said something about Gerald, but oh, there he is. Hey, Gerald. So here I am rambling on about my health care, mostly to kill time until I see if anybody shows up in the chat, because I didn't plan this. It's kind of a last minute thing. But here's all these people with nothing to do on a Saturday. What's wrong with you people? You don't have chores and things to do. You're not doing lives. I might put in a little link if anybody wants to pop in and join me. If there's any interest, say, I'm in, in the chat. Let's see who else is here. Oh, I see Tanji. Let's see. Virag Stiblinger. I don't know you, but hello. Welcome. I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong. And Sarah. Just back from a walk. Sarah, I've been thinking about you because, well, for reasons only you and I know about that I won't say. And also because I think you live on a farm. And I've been watching this great YouTube channel called Do and Be Different. I think it's this couple that lives in Latvia. And they used to live out of a van, but now a couple of years ago, they finally got their own land and a little rundown farm that they're rebuilding. And since about a month or so ago, they've been showing a lot of footage about their livestock. They had birthed, I think, 5 baby goats in January, and they're so cute. I think of Sandra every time I see that too, because Sandra's such an animal lover. All these baby goats jumping around. I don't know what it is about goats, why they're so jumpy. They jump right, up into the air like they've got springs in their feet or something. It's just wild. Oh, Deanne's going outside because it's so nice today. But for now, are you taking the baby out? Is it too early to take the baby out in the carriage or something? Been wondering about that, how things are going. Or maybe you need to run out and get some fresh air and leave Ryan with the baby for a bit. Hey, Beth. Spots are rising. So I have, Sarah, do you have baby goats? Sarah says, goodness, baby goats are so fun. Yeah, the goats are cute. And they have baby lambs too, but I think the goats are cuter than the lambs. But they want to eat everything. I can't remember the name of this couple. The woman, I can't remember her name. She's Greek, and I think the guy is Latvian, but I'm not sure. But they live in Latvia. And she's mostly on screen, and he's behind the camera. Very rarely they switch, like when he's doing construction work, building the barn or making improvements, she'll be filming, but they trade off the footage. But anyway, when she's always in there, in the enclosure or barn or whatever you call it, the goat house, playing with the baby goats. And they're always like jumping on her, climbing on her, and trying to eat her hair. And I just want to shout. She wears a stocking cap, and I just want to shout through the screen, tuck your hair into your stocking cap, because these goats are going to eat the hair right off your head. I mean, I can see them like swallowing the hair. It'll be half down their throats and half still attached to her head. And I just get so much anxiety watching, but it's fun. So if anybody has any news or anything that they want to share in the chat, please do. I got a couple of things. I'm still waiting on word from Benjamin Allen Simon. I did a walkthrough last week of this almost neon Spectral World Tarot. It's sort of large playing card size cards that come in a tuck box, which, not that great, but tuck box, that's what it is. And they're really bright, colorful cards. And the guy, I didn't know anything about this guy. I saw a brief walkthrough and I thought, oh, they're too bright for me. They're like fluorescent paintings. There's so much color, and I love color, but they're a little bit over the top with color. And then I found a walkthrough in high def, and there's so much detail in them. They're not just splashes of color. There's little tiny ornamental swirls and dots and details in there that almost look like sigils or something. And so I went to his Etsy shop. I ordered a copy, and then I saw all this other stuff he has on the Etsy shop. He has pins and decals and all kinds of stuff, including he sells the original art that was turned into this deck. These are all hand-painted acrylic paintings that it took him 2 years to complete, and they're all small. They're like miniatures. Oh, Gerald got it, and his deck arrived. They're miniatures. They're like 5x7 and canvas boards. And they're so cheap, comparatively speaking, to buy real art online. I mean, the deck itself was $39, and I thought $39 for an independent deck where he's hand painted every single of the M78 card images. That seems pretty reasonable to me. But not only that, but many of the cards in the deck, you can actually buy the original canvas painting that the card was made from, and they go from like $50 to $75. $50. I mean, that's $75 even is the price of some indie decks, and you have the original art. So anyway, I've been after him to come, let me interview him on the channel, but he's really busy. And I did a little more digging. I found out he's got his own YouTube channel. I think it's called something like Magic Turtle 34 or 43, or I don't know, but you can look up Benjamin Allen Simon and probably figure it out. Or you can go on his Etsy. There's probably a link there or something. But he's had his own channel since like 2008 or something. So, I mean, I'm a newbie compared to him. It's not a tarot channel. It's like an art and comedy channel or something. He does so many things. He's like a jack of all trades. But anyway, very talented, very interesting looking guy. Got a lot going on. And if anybody wants to see any of the cards, let me know. But this is the back of the card. And they're not actually fluorescent, but they look fluorescent. They're really bright hues. And these are this is the Knight of Wands. It does sort of follow the RWS system, although it's kind of like a Pippish deck in a way. I mean, there aren't really people in this deck other than maybe about 3 cards. And those are like in the abstract, like I think maybe the World, the Hangman, and the Lovers or something. But the rest of them just have like these really bright rainbow colory cards. And so 2 of them that he had paintings of that I fell in love with were this one, the Knight of Wands and the 6 of Swords. So I went ahead and I bought these paintings. How could I not? $100 for 2 original paintings that, are part of this deck. So it came in a little padded mailer. I'll show you the paintings. So this, unfortunately, this camera isn't as good as my iPhone, but here's the card, and here is the painting for the Knight of Wands. Now I just have to find the perfect frame to put it in. And then here is, where's the other painting? What the hell did I just do with it? Oh, here it is. Here's the other card, the 6 of Swords. And here's, you'd think I'd know what I'm doing by now, but I don't. Unfortunately, these don't show off to their best, like I said, on this camera, because even if I go really close, you're probably not going to see details like you find. Oh, I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's a blade. There are all these little curly cues, and I mean, it's really amazing fine detail on these things. And I'm thrilled to have these, and I'm kind of debating whether I should go back to the website and buy a couple more. I really want to promote this guy, not that he needs promotion, but I'm really hoping he'll come on and let me interview him. So if anybody wants to see any of the cards from the deck, let me know and I'll pull the card for you. Let me see what's going on in the chat room. To back up a little bit. Deanne says it'll be a great day for baby to be out. So I guess she is taking, is it Vela? I'm not sure if I have the pronunciation right. Her new daughter out in the baby carriage. I wonder if her big brother Max will be pushing the carriage. Beth loves goats so much. Always wanted to do goat yoga. Farm cams are fun, says Sarah. Sarah used to run the sheep and goat events at our local fair. Goats love to eat their ribbons. Gerald got his copy of the Spectro Whirl Tarot. What's the name of the deck, says Beth? Yes, it's the Spectro Whirl. Is it on the box? Yes, it must be. Spectro Whirl Tarot. It's on Etsy. And I think he has a website called, spectrowhirl.com, all one word. Beth wants to see them, please. I'll be happy to show you if you tell me which one you want to see. I've done a high def walkthrough, or maybe it's not high def, but it's better def than what we got with this camera. Beth wants to see the moon. I'll find the moon for you. I'm not real big on the fool. That's kind of one of those scary clown face kind of masks, sort of court jestery thing. Not real thrilled with that, but I get it. I mean, it works for a certain aspect of the fool, almost like old world tarot version of the fool. Now, I had these shuffled, so it didn't entirely reorganize them, but I did separate them into majors and suits so they'd be a little easier to find. So here's the moon. I like the way the moon is almost like pincers, sort of like grasping at the energy. It's either absorbing this energy or energy is leaving the moon. There's almost like energy at the core of the moon, or there's like a star or a sun in the moon. And often we see the moon as sort of an eclipse. So that's kind of interesting. But there's also another moon down here in the corner. Now, I don't know if these would be readily readable intuitively, visually. No, I've gotten to the point where I'm less and less bothered by tip decks. And as long as these have the labels on them, I can read them. So the way I use this deck is I refer instantly to the label. Well, I glance at the card, then I look at the label, then I go back to the imagery and start to see if I can fine tune with stuff that's going on, because these are kind of abstract cards. Let's see. Okay, Beth says lovely. Sarah says those are cool. Gerald says, hi, Andy the Wildflower. Missed you. Hello. Okay. Vela is the correct pronunciation, apparently. Not Vaela or Vaela. Vaela. Reminds me a little of the Sweet Twilight deck, says Andy. I don't know that one. So if you want to see any more of the cards, let me know. Call them out in the chat. I'll find them for you. Otherwise, I'll move on to the other deck I can show you, which is the Keishobu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's Japanese. Comes in this weird box. You'll be hard-pressed to find this. I have a very dear friend who shall be remain nameless because they told me not to say. And they sold me this. And it just says tarot cards on the box. And it's like one of these little sleeve boxes. It's in two parts. It's got a booklet in it and like a kind of a wallet sleeve that had the deck divided into two parts. And I took them out of here and I have them in a bag. I'm not big on, the box doesn't really visually have anything to do with the deck. And the book's all in Japanese, so that's of no help to me whatsoever. And I didn't buy it for historical reasons. I bought it because I visually loved the deck. It's a really unusual deck. Now where did I put the cards? The cards are a little bit of, I think they're an odd size. I think they're a little, I don't know if they're narrower or they're just taller. I think they might just be taller than regular tarot card size. But these are the backs. They're old-fashioned, a very old-fashioned kind of pattern, very pretty in blue. Chat's gone quiet. I hope I haven't lost everybody. And this is a really unusual deck because it's sort of a cross, and I also have done a walkthrough of this in better definition. This is kind of like a cross between Tarot de Marseille, Rider-Waite Smith, and playing card court cards. If you put them all in a blender, you might come up with this deck. And it's got sort of coloring and imagery that's very similar to the Marseille, but then you also have sort of in the minors this Rider-Waite kind of imagery. I love the color palette on this. It's sort of a golden tan, and there's no diversity here. You might call this the deck of the blondes. Like there's no brunettes, no redheads, no people of color. They're all blondes in this deck, Caucasian blondes. But that's okay. It is what it is. It's got sort of a, I don't know, I think somebody referred to it as teal, but I don't know. I thought it was aquamarine, but I don't know my blues very well. And kind of golden brown and kind of golden red. There's not many colors in it. So it kind of reminds you of that kind of sparse palette of a Marseille deck. But it's got some really, really nice images. And I really love these minors. It also kind of reminds me of decks like the Aquarian and the Morgan Greer because the images are a little bit more close up than say the RWS. Here's the Six of Swords, and I don't know why I'm on the Six of Swords today, moving through the water. I love that image in the other deck. I like it in this one too. Here he doesn't have anybody with him in the boat, and he's standing up in the boat like George Washington crossing the Delaware. But we still get that image of the boat going across the water, although it's going in the other direction than we're used to. I'll show you my favorite card if I can find it. This one. Very unusual. The Four of Swords. I love this card. It's my favorite card in the deck. It's different than the sort of Soldier in the Tomb card from RWS. Here we've got two soldiers, it looks like in a tent, resting, between battles because the swords are on the floor or on the ground. They're playing chess, but it looks like one of the chess pieces has been toppled or is at rest. The board is at rest. There are no pieces on it. The arm is resting on the table. For me, they're not sleeping, they're not dead, but it's a very relaxed kind of state, sort of in between activities. I love that card. Beth likes the hues of the deck. Bronze and gold, says Sarah. Deck of the blondes, Shauna. Ooh, a mixy deck I like, says Deanne. Sarah says, Tuckbot Rage is nothing compared to the way most Japanese decks are packaged. True. I like the moon card. May I see the Eight of Cups? Sorry, I can go back and watch the walkthrough too. The Fool reminds Beth of Mardi Gras. Yeah, I get that. Okay, let me flip back to the other deck for the Eight of Cups. We can go back and forth here. I don't have much else really to cover today. Let me find my cups. I think the Eight of Cups was one that the artwork was available to buy if you find out you like it. There it is, the Eight of Cups. It looks initially like the Two of Cups, but if you look around the border, you'll see other cups. Are there eight there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, there's 8. There's 2 in the middle and 2 on the bottom left and top right corner, and then 2 on the other corners and 2 on the sides. So let me see. The thing about this deck there's only 2 things about it I don't like. I love everything else. It's in great condition, by the way. It came out in 72 or 73, so I mean, it's kind of amazing that it looks like brand new. Most of the cards, or a lot of the cards, have a little copyright on the card, as you can see. So I never like copyrights on my cards, but I can live with it. I mean, they're not really prominent, and they're not even on every card. And the images and the colors are so bold that the copyrights don't really jump out at you. The thing I mostly don't like about it is the card stock. It's really clumpy. It's not glidey at all. It makes it really hard to shuffle. I don't riffle shuffle. I can try, but I'm not very good at it. And these are very stiff. I'm not even sure someone who riffle shuffles could manage it very well. But often when I'm just going to grab a card from the deck, I find that there's 2 of them together. It's like, it's a deck where you kind of want to lick your fingers, on paper to separate them. But I don't want to do that with a vintage deck like this. It may leave a stain on the cards, acids or whatever in my saliva may deteriorate the quality of the deck. But I'm hoping that just with, a lot of use, the deck will be easier. And I've been trying to kind of like bend and flex the cards a little bit so they do separate more readily. Oh, this is a great and unusual 10 of Swords. It's not from the back. We see the guy from the front, and seems a little bit forlorn at having to carry all these. Did I say swords? I meant wands. 10 of Wands. Sean is busy putting decks in her timeout box away from chat quite a bit. Beth says, interesting interpretation, difficult for me to read with. Yeah. Virog says, it really reminds me of the Tarot de Marseille of the new Incarnation deck because the court card is drawn in the same way. Sarah says 4 of Swords is similar to the Sheridan Douglas. That's interesting. This is fun. Here we have the 5 of Pence, or in this deck, coins. That's another thing. They're coins, so it's more Marseille than Pentacles of the RWS. But you can see there's that hint of the 2 poor, sick people outside the church window that we usually get from the RWS. It's zoomed in close, but you can see a little bit of a cane or a crutch there. They both look, a little downhearted, and we've got the arch of the church window. So there are definitely nods to the RWS. Here is the High Priestess, which is very much the Popess, Papess from Marseille. Here's a very 70s kind of style magician. All his tools on the table, but very close up. Multicolor hailstone, says Sarah. Yeah, in that card, I guess, instead of the snow that we usually get. I didn't think about it as hailstones, but yeah. This was a little odd. It's the lovers, but no, is it the lovers? Sorry, two of cups. And we've got the lion there, but the lion looks very dog-like or lamb-like or something. It's a very odd-looking lion, but I know it's a lion with wings because of the RWS Two of Cups. And there's a pretty chariot that's kind of close up. So here we have the lover, singular. It's a very kind of almost comic book, cartoony kind of 70s version. Gerald wants to know if Shauna has a standard criteria she uses to put decks into the timeout box, or is it intuitive, or both, or something else? I've been doing that too. I have a purgatory box, and mostly it's decks that I have sort of grown beyond or haven't used in ages, or there's some aspect of the deck I was never completely comfortable with. I currently have a copy of a Robert M. Place deck in my purgatory box that I will be dragging out of the purgatory box to participate with Gerald and Ben in a deck casual in a couple of weeks. But there you have it. And even though I've got these decks in my purgatory box, I'm not very prompt at. I'm about as prompt at selling them as I am at using them, because it's such a pain in the ass to box them up and truck off to the post office and pay and fill out forms, and I just wish someone would show up at my door with their arms out and say, "I'm here, give me your decks," and they can have them and take them away. Shauna is intuitive about her box. Just don't feel like working with them right now, so they go in the box. Gerald's never heard of the deck. I hadn't either. I sort of found it online by accident and reached out to a friend who helped me get hold of a copy. It's called the Keishobu, and I don't know if I've spelled it right. I've seen it spelled two different ways. Keishobu or Obou. So Sarah has supplied a spelling for the deck. And she ought to know because she does a lot of research into Japanese decks. So, here's the Five of Wands. So you still have that like struggle with the wands, but you only have two figures, not five. Presumably because we're so zoomed in, they couldn't fit five figures in here. Although I guess there could have been some on the ground. There could have been quite an orgy of deck struggle or a wand struggle in this card if they really wanted to. But I think it works just as well with just showing the wands and the two figures kind of fighting or struggling with them. Gerald's coming here with his SUV to take all the decks. This was, I thought, kind of interesting. It's the Four of Coins, which is what we usually see, someone sitting on a chair with, gripping and standing on the four coins. But I don't think in the usual card, I don't think they're wearing a crown. And I don't think the chair they're sitting on looks so much like a throne. So, I mean, there's kind of a royalty issue about this card that I don't recall in any other four of coins, but it's kind of interesting to me. Think about, what's involved in holding on to a kingdom, holding a kingdom together. Sarah says 1973. It's one of the first decks produced in and for Japan. And it really shocks me that somebody didn't try to reproduce this for US audiences or world audiences. The figures are not Japanese figures, they're blonde characters, and I mean, it's just very strange to me. The artwork doesn't seem to me like Japanese artwork. Sarah says that the RWS one does have a crown, but not a fancy chair. I'm going to have to look at that again because I don't remember them wearing a crown. Here in the Six of Wands, we do have somebody on a horse with a wreath of celebration. And we don't see other people, but we do see the wands around the person with the wreath. So there's still that sort of manner of celebration. Here's the Nine of Swords, a nightmare card from a different perspective. And it's not such a dark card. It's like sort of brightly lit. So, and almost like tears of blood or something in, coming down from the swords rather than her eyes. I don't know. It's an intriguing card, I think. Different kind of Three of Cups. Yeah, it's pretty close to what we're used to, but I like the way the cups are all sort of one above the other, and people, the three women gathered around them. Interesting Three of Coins. You have the arch and the worker and the collaborator looking on, sort of advising or maybe telling them what they want to be done. Here's the Seven of Swords, which we have the right action, that we're used to seeing, stealing the swords. And we have the little tent in the background as if you weren't quite sure which card this is, to remind you. Really nice Eight of Swords. I don't know if everybody is still in the chat, but let me put word out there. If anybody has any of my decks, I'm hoping to do a collaboration soon where I invite people to go live with me and do 3-card readings with my decks. I'm curious to kind of learn what others see in my cards and help me see things that I don't see or haven't seen yet, or increase my awareness of my own creations, but also to see how other people read with them. Because unless they could pick any of the 4 decks that I've done to work with, but one is a Lenormand and one is a 78 card pip deck, and the other 2 are majors only. And what I would like to do is find 2 other people who have my decks, or at least one of my decks, and the 3 of us would each draw a card, and then the 3 of us would interpret that 3-card spread. So if there's anybody interested in joining me to do that, let me know. If you can't let me know in the chat, maybe let me know in the comments below after this gets posted. I'm looking to collaborate on something like that. So there. Beth is curious to know how many decks I have. I haven't counted in a while. Probably, I'm estimating 120. And I don't have space. That's another reason why stuff is going in the purgatory box. No more shelf space. And I've gotten rid of other things in my collection to make shelf space. Like I have a massive CD collection, and a lot of the CDs have been discarded. The material's been transferred into my iTunes, so I don't physically need those CDs. But, I still have a lot. I have books. I've gotten rid of some of the books. I hate to let that stuff go because it's all of value. But, when you live in a tiny studio apartment for going on 50 years, it's just, it'll only hold so much. Some stuff just has to go. Gerald stepped away for a second, but he would collaborate, but he wants to know the first part of the shared reading. Gerald, it's going to be kind of like the readings that you do. I forget what your series is called, where you have 3 people that each pull one card, and then they do a reading from those 3 cards pulled. Only in this case, the 3 cards pulled will all be from my decks that I designed, because I want to see how people read with my deck. And it'd be interesting also to me to see if by chance anybody pulls the same card in the deck, because I don't think that's ever happened in a reading online, which I guess would just mean that there's more emphasis on the strength of that card in that particular reading. Virag likes the deck. Thanks for showing us. I assume he means the Keishobu. Beth, really winnowing down my decks, not a collector, so if I don't use the deck, I try to rehome. Gerald, can't bring myself to let go of CDs or vinyl because I like seeing the art and reading the liner notes. Yeah. Yep, I get that. Well, I'm not getting rid of all of them. The ones that I love the most or the most special to me, I'm holding on to. I replaced all or almost all of my vinyl with CDs. I still have some of the original vinyls and the CDs that replace them. And then there are some CDs where it's not for me that much about the art or the notes in the CD sleeve. So I just save the music and pass the CD on. At this point, it's almost pointless, to have the CDs, although I love the physical thing, but MP3s and streaming kind of destroyed the music industry. But anything and everything you'd ever want, and even out of print stuff, pretty much you can find on YouTube. So, and I do a radio show, for anybody that doesn't know, once a week on Monday nights from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a radio show called The Dark Day Escape Pod. It's on luxuriamusic.com. That's all one word, Luxuria Music. And I have a lot of fun with it, and I have a pretty huge collection. There's several thousand songs or albums. I can't remember, but there's a lot in my iTunes. And I don't really buy stuff anymore, but if there's something I'm lacking that I need now, I just kind of grab it off of YouTube and convert the file so I can use it for the radio show. It's usually like a stray single that I wouldn't have bought a whole album for. But my show is usually based around a theme. Like last week was it was called "Take Me for a Ride." So the bulk of the songs in there, from music from the 1920s through today, had the word "ride" somewhere in the title of the song. And that filled up most of my 2-hour show. When I ran out of those, then I filled the rest with having "take" in the title. Take as in, physically take someone somewhere. So that was "Take Me for a Ride." This week is the show that was supposed to be last week, but the station kind of screwed up. The theme was "Sleep." So all the songs have "sleep" in the title, or if I ran out of sleep songs, there's like "tired" or "exhausted" or something in the title. So it's kind of a fun thing for me to do each week, to kind of arrange these things and hopscotch from decade to decade through all different kinds of music, simply connected by a common word in the title. Beth is recommending I check out her daughter's album. Vinyl's actually beautiful at this point. There's something so ritualistic about the way she used to care for her vinyl records, says Beth. Gerald's in for the collaboration. He only has the unlabeled white open face, which is perfectly fine. That's all you need. Although I thought you had thought you also got the Lenormand. Beth, Sarah's going to check out your daughter's album. Here's the 8 of coins. Trying to find cards in here that have a slightly different feel than what we're used to in the other systems. Here's the 5 of Swords. It's a little bit different, but very much the same. We've got 2 people walking away in the back, some discarded swords, and this person with 3 swords versus the 2 that have been cast down. I've been wondering about, Sarah might be able to tell me about international copyright law. I've been wondering about the idea of scanning these and removing the copyrights and making them available privately at Make Playing Cards, sort of selling them privately just to a small handful of people, friends that might be interested. That way I can get them on a card stock that I like more. Although I think there might be an issue with the formatting, so the borders might be a little bit wider or weirder, because these are taller and narrower than the available cards at Make Playing Cards. But I'd still prefer to have their card stock to this card stock. She says it's very complicated. That's why I haven't gone anywhere with it. I'm wondering if she means about the copyright or something else. Technically, you could still make a copy for your own use. Yeah, I think I could. The question is, if somebody contacted me privately and wanted to get a copy, could I then order a copy and have it shipped to them, or would I have to order one and have it shipped to me and then ship it from my address to them. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I want to get into all that. It seems a shame. I mean, I'm wondering about reaching out to Brant and see what he thinks, because he kind of did it with the hoi polloi, but I don't know whether he contacted anybody to get the rights to do the hoi polloi. And he did do drastic cleanup and color changes and so forth. I mean, maybe I could tweak the colors on these, like scan the art and keep the art and just tweak the color. I don't know. Oh, this is interesting. In the Nine of Cups, the guy with the cups, his expression, I don't find him as obnoxious as the usual guy in the RWS. And I kind of like that he's got these two cups crossed in front of him, which is an extra little bit of interest in this card. I have to think about how to read that. Sarah says the hoi polloi is in public domain. Well, I don't know why that would be. I mean, this is the same era of the hoi polloi, I would think. Here we've got the 10 of Cups. We don't have the rainbow or the family, but we have a couple pointing up to the sort of arc of cups over their head. There's no little dancing child or home in the background, but very similar vibe. Sarah says, not sure what Japanese copyright law says about public domain. Yeah, and I don't know if you can restrict sales, even if I wanted to make it publicly available at MPC. I'm not sure if you can restrict sales on there so that they're not sold outside the US or not. But I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of a major pain in the ass. I originally saw this on, oh shoot, I can't, Esther. What's Esther's channel's name? I want to say Intuitive Tarot, but I don't know if I'm got the right channel name. Anyway, she has a walkthrough of this, and she took iPhone photos of the cards and had a private copy made for herself, but then deleted all the images, and they're cropped and zoomed in. It's still a work deck or workable deck, but it doesn't have all the details that these cards have. But I initially was going to reach out to her and say, hey, do you still have those? Could you print me one? Could I buy one from you? But she said she deleted all the files, so she didn't have them. So if I want to have a copy on comfortable stock, I will have to scan them myself. But I have a deck I can do that with if I want to. Question is whether I want to make it available to more than just me. And I suppose you may be able to find copies of this deck out there if you really go searching. I don't know whether they ever show up on eBay or whether you have to go somewhere else to find them. But, I mean, yeah, I don't really look for decks outside the country, really. Oh, we're going on an hour here. I don't think I'll keep you all today. I think I've showed you what I wanted to show you, the Keishobu, the Spectro Whirl, my paintings. Wanted to chat with people for a little bit. And what do we got here? Okay. So thanks for stopping by and joining me today. And maybe somebody else will pop on and do a live today or something. I don't think there's anything scheduled as far as I know. So we'll see. See you all sometime soon. Bye.